Hey everyone, story time. I actually did wash and blow dry my hair, so I don't know why it looks so bad. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the eclipse. I am not an astrologer. I identify as a human. Okay, that was scary. Full moons. What I was trying to say before that just happened. Yeah, I live in a suburb that's kind of close to the city of Sydney. That was crazy. That's full moon energy, everybody. Full moons send people kind of delulu. But anyway, back to what was I saying? Oh yeah, eclipse energy. Yeah. So I'm not. So I don't identify. I definitely don't identify as an astrologer. I can do a really basic astrology reading. Like I like to say, I know more than if you just come off the street into my room for a reading and you've done nothing more than look at a horoscope in the paper, if people even do that anymore. I can do more than that, but I'm definitely not an astrologer. I can do like basic astrology, and I've noticed patterns over the years of reading for people with certain signs and just getting to know people who are certain signs and just knowing their traits and their characteristics, friends, family members, just knowing their sun, moon and rising, and just, it's just, honestly, if anyone wants to, if you want to learn astrology or tarot or deepen your connection with yourself or the universe, my biggest tip to you is pay attention. Like one of my friends recently has been seeing lots of angel numbers, and she's like, "What does it mean?" Or she saw this certain event, kind of a devastating event, happen 3 times, and you can't ignore it when the not the exact same, but the same kind of thing, which is quite shocking, happened like 3 times over a few days. And she was also like happened to be with the same person every time it happened. And she was like, "What does this mean?" And I said, well, I gave her my opinion. I said, look, I think this is what it could mean, but really what my best advice for her and for all of you is pay attention. Pay attention to everything. Notice things that happen, and then notice what happens after. And then notice when it happens again, and then notice what happens after. And that is how you develop a relationship with yourself and with the universe. And then you create this conversation, this ongoing conversation. So, and I do it with tarot and also angel numbers, but it's happened in other ways as well. Like the example that I gave to my friend the other night was, I was driving home on a country road one night where I used to live, and I hit something, and it's the only time I've ever hit something. And it had to have been like a wombat or something, because that's what it felt like. And I had to have killed it. And I was doing 100K. I must have been doing about 100K. It's a country town, so there's no lights. I was in the middle of the freeway. So I couldn't stop. It wasn't feasible. It wasn't safe for me to stop. I had to keep driving, and it was pointless anyway. Like it was done. And to this day, like it's the only animal I've ever hit. It had to have been an animal, and there's no way it could be alive after I hit it at that speed. And then the next day, a gift that somebody had given me, handmade, that was quite special, snapped, broke in half. And then I got a phone, and so I just noticed it. I was like, okay, so I've killed an animal. this sacred, spiritual, special gift has broken. I just noticed it. So then when I got a phone call that night from a friend with devastating news, I was like, oh, that's what's killed. That's what's broken. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So and I don't, and that's never going to happen again. Like, I'm never going to like hit an animal and then then the next day break a sacred object and then get a phone call from a friend with devastating news. So it plays out differently all the time, but I do notice it. I have noticed it. So, and I've also smashed a crystal before and then something devastating happened, and I see certain numbers, and it's to the point now where I see an angel number and I know exactly what it means. I know that when I see 666 and I'm thinking of a certain person or thing, it's like this, like danger or slow down. I know that when I see 777 and I'm having a rough time, it's my guide. Like when I was it's my guide saying everything's okay. Like when I was in hospital and I was very, very sick and I kept getting moved as I was a close contact of COVID, every hospital room that I was in added up to the number 7. I think the first one I was in was, like number 25. The next one might have been 34. The next one might have been 7. 777. So, and that was just, I noticed it, I just paid attention. And it was one of many little things that happened during that time that I was like, okay, this is what the universe is telling me. So with eclipses, like I said, coming back to the beginning, not an astrologer, don't claim to be. I can do very basic astrology, but I have noticed that there was an eclipse that happened in my 4th house, which is the house of home and family. It's a long story, I won't go into it, but I had to move house. There was an eclipse that happened in my 11th house, which is the house of friendship and acquaintances. I suddenly had a massive friendship breakup. So I think I met a romantic interest on a full moon, on a lunar eclipse, like in my early 20s. So people will blow in and out of your life on full moons and eclipses. And I'm just saying that not as an astrologer, not even as, did I even say that I call myself a tarot reader and a psychic at this point. And I have for years, so I don't see that changing anytime soon. But that's just since I started paying attention to moon cycles and eclipses, which has been 5 or 6 years, that's when I started noticing that around eclipse season, these hectic changes would happen. And sometimes they were awful. Like I did, having to move house all of a sudden. The friendship breakup was devastating. I think I actually got sick and had to leave Byron on an eclipse. But in every single one of those cases, I look back now and I see why it had to happen. And there's no way that I would have broken up with that friend. There's no way I would have moved house. There's no way I would have left Byron. But now looking back, I see that house was toxic. That friendship was toxic. Byron Bay became toxic for me. I know that sounds crazy. It's a place of healing and spirituality, and it actually healed me a lot. But the point that it's just where I was at in my life and what I was doing, like I had to go. But Amy, I never would have removed myself. So the universe would would do it for me every time. So if you're going through something uncomfortable, if there's massive change happening, if you feel like something's being removed from your life and you're confused, you're devastated, you're feeling lost, I can almost guarantee that it's for your highest good, and looking in the future, you'll look back and you'll start to understand that it had to happen that way because you didn't and you couldn't have known. Your higher self knew that it had to happen, and you're back on your path, and you were off your path, and now you're back on your path because of it.